Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman have come.
Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police have come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police have come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman have come.
Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police have come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman have come.
Sanko squeeze the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko squeeze the love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Sanko lefty love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko lefty love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Bip bop, police have come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy,
You better run.
Sanko boy, police have come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman have come. Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko.
Police have come.
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop, and what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour everything. Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union will be hosting a special general meeting and elections on Saturday, March 2, 2024. The meeting and elections will be held both virtually and in person in the various regions. Members in Region 4 will be allowed to vote at the Critchlow Labor College, Wolford Avenue. The meeting will be held from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Members are asked to be on the lookout for information regarding online voting and regional polling places. Full participation of members is encouraged. Let us move your credit union forward.
All right. Hey, welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benchop, and I'm, what is it, 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. It's 9 minutes after 9 o'clock in Guyana. Good evening to all of you. We're going to rock and roll this evening for 1 hour. We have Tom. Tom is with us. Tom Anderson. I have some questions for Tom. Lots of information for you. Well, let me just take the time to thank you guys, those who have already shared the link. I see my good friend Neville Kissoon. I haven't seen Neville in a couple of years' time, but Neville and I go way back. We're getting old together, Neville. We're getting old together. Good to see you on the show. All of you regular listeners, all the new listeners, good evening and welcome to Straight Up on 107.1 FM. All of you folks on the ground, good evening to you. Let me just start off by saying we should salute this brave young man. This brave guy went out in front of the Guyana Public Service Union. Dennis Atwell, that's his name. He's usually on this show. Sometimes he misbehaves. He's a good guy though. He's in the struggle. He's on the ground. He's not a Facebook warrior. He is on the ground warrior. I know him personally. We were on some protests together, whether in front of the Venezuelan embassy, wherever. But he's all over the place now. Thank you so much, Dennis, for being brave. Thank you so much, Dennis Atwell, for going out in front of Patrick Yard's office and to ask him, what about the ultimatum? What is that all about? Is it a bluff? But Dennis went out there. How many other persons would be so brave? We know Dennis, we know Rhonda Lane, and so forth. Sometimes we wish that the opposition MPs would be brave enough to go out and do these things instead of jump on Facebook. I'm not painting all of them with the same brush because some of them bumps like to race quick. But they should go out and do these things, call for action, not just talk and blah, 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 blah all the time and think as though it's not politics. It's just not. We're sick and we're tired of that sort of politicking. Seems as though politics have changed now. It's called lazy politicking. Lazy politicking. And they feel that makes them leaders, right? I'm tired of that too, Otto. Tired of that. Snap a quick photo, a selfie. Just give me a break. Can't be a leader and you're afraid to make decisions. Go out there and represent your people. A lot of these MPs think they got it easy. They want to play sweet boy and sweet girl politics. It's not going to work. Let's get straight to our guest this evening. But thanks again. Thank you so much, Dennis Atwell. You guys in the audience, give Dennis a good thumbs up there. Tom Anderson, how are you doing, sir? Good to see you.
Great, man. Good evening, everybody. Good to be back.
Good to have you with us. Let's start off with the teachers' strike, I'm sure, because you're a watchdog in Washington, D.C. You're a director there. You do your stuff. You watch, you see, you observe, and you take action. But the Guyana teachers' strike, it's entering their fourth week, I believe, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they've been out there in the streets like forever. But the current government of Guyana just doesn't care about the teachers. How does that make you feel watching in, sir?
Well, from the outside, this is one of those things where it's obvious, right, that the government thinks that they can outlast the teachers, that they've got the advantage, and they're going to force these teachers to bend to their will. I think they've made that pretty obvious. So the teachers definitely have their hands full. And they're probably going to have to do some more. Whatever they've done, they're going to have to notch it up a few notches, because it looks like this government is not going to budge, at least for now, at least.
Well, it appears that they don't want to, but we all know that they're trembling. They're trying to find a way. They're just trying to be tough. This strike is affecting them. It can get bigger, and it's something that would be out of control.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they believe that they can keep it where it's at, and they can outlast the teachers and get them to fold. And I think that's a belief on their part, in my opinion. I've seen the protests. I've seen what's going on. It's very organized. They're very well supported. I think it's going to be hard for the government to continue to not do what they need to do to get the teachers back in the classroom teaching the children of Guyana.
Why is it so difficult for them to go to the table to bargain? Only a vindictive government would do that to its teachers, its students, and the parents, and overall the people in the country. What is so difficult for them to say, look, let's go to the table and start this negotiation? Why aren't they doing it, Tom?
They might be thinking, unfortunately, that if they bend to the teachers, then everyone that deals with public services are going to strike next. And then the other people are going to strike, and everyone's going to keep striking because the government seems weak. I think that's what they are thinking, maybe, but that's a mistake, because teachers are different than regular municipal workers. Okay. They are the ones who are responsible for the future of the country. And so because of that, the government has an obligation to bend for the educators of the future. I mean, why not? And it shouldn't be viewed as, oh, well, they bent to the teachers, so they'll bend to everyone else. Not true. Not true. Teachers are special. They should be treated that way. And I think that's the problem with the government right now in Guyana, is that they're not viewing teachers as the special people they are.
They should. And it's vindictiveness on the part of the regime. Hopefully they'll get to the negotiation table by tomorrow or by Friday. Let good sense prevail on the part of the installed PVP regime. The fact that they're taking away, deducting from their salaries monies from these teachers, they've attempted to do that. A court ruled that no, not so fast. It's not going to happen. Don't do it. And a guy by the name of Sadam Hussain, not in Iraq, not in Iraq, but in Guyana. Tom, you're smiling. There is a Sadam Hussain in Guyana. Here he is, Sadam Hussain. He sent out a letter to the teachers throughout all the 10 regions, saying that all teachers who are on the strike, monies from their salaries will be deducted. The court said no. After the court said no, this guy, Sadam Hussain, went back out again, and he said, your monies will be deducted. The judge in the case, Mr. Kisoon, called this guy, the chief elections officer, in today for fitness, so to speak, scolded him. He, like a little pussycat, said, I'm sorry, I apologize. It wouldn't happen again. And less than 15 minutes after he got out of that courtroom, guess what, Tom? As we say in Guyana, he was back to his old tricks. He issued another letter saying, well, look, he rescinded the first one, but he's saying that the teachers, those who are not at schools, to write all their names down and submit it to his office. What is your take again on this guy defying the court's order?
Well, that's interesting, because clearly he's been somehow, some way put in a position to be some type of enforcer for the PPP, I guess. And he's taking that job really serious, and he's going at it hard. But it sounds like he's stepping over the line with the law in Guyana. And to me also, he's also putting himself in a position, I believe, for public scrutiny. I mean, I'm glad that you're speaking about this on your show tonight. And I think other people in the media in Guyana should be talking about this. You know, activists should be paying attention to what he's doing in his office. he needs to be scrutinized a little bit more, I believe. And that's how this should go. You know, if you're going to try to do what he's doing and defy the court with what it sounds like he's doing, I don't know if I'm not, it sounds like that's what he's doing, but if that's what he's doing, he's opening himself up to be scrutinized himself thoroughly, right? Which should happen. And it's good that you're talking about it on your show tonight, because these types of intimidations against, like once I said again, against teachers, it's unacceptable. It's just unacceptable, and it shouldn't be that way. The teachers should be treated much nicer. They are the workers in government. They're not the ones who are hooked up to organized crime. They're not trying to smuggle things. These are the people within government that are always doing the right thing. They're always putting in the extra time. They're the ones who are the future of it. They're teaching the future of the country. And so there shouldn't be any type of negativity towards them whatsoever, ever. I don't even understand where that's even coming from.
We certainly don't understand where it's coming from. Tom Anderson is with us this evening on 107.1 FM. We're talking about Sadam Hussain. He defied the court's order again. He should be brought back before the same judge tomorrow and possibly be sent to jail. I'm not sure he's going to want to spend even 30 minutes in jail, because he wouldn't be able to take it at all. He seems very weak and a pussycat. But these guys, the court got to be strong in terms of punishment against these guys defying the court order. If it was just an ordinary teacher, they probably would have already sent that teacher or ordinary worker to jail. Let me show you what has happened in another part of Guyana with the teachers. The teachers were out. They were out demonstrating the strike. They're talking and they're in solidarity with each other. And this is what the so-called government, the PPP regime, did to these teachers. Take a look, please, Tom.
Teachers on the stage. We trying to make up after 6.5%. We rocks. Oh, shucks.
Okay, let me just break it down in case you just don't understand. I'll translate it for you, Tom, even though you probably understand a little bit. They're saying teachers on the stage, and of course the government doesn't care. They're saying we broke. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, man, they need money.
They're broke.
Poor. That's
broke.
right.
We broke.
That's right.
We broke.
That's right.
6.5 can't walk. 6.5 is the crumbs the PPP regime wants to give to them, and they're saying no. We broke. 6.5 can't walk. While they were on stage, pay careful attention what the corrupt and the vindictive PPP regime did to these teachers.
A few moments later.
You can see they're breaking it down. Can you believe these people? Look at them.
Okay, so you saw that there. What's going through your mind looking into what's happening in Guyana, Tom?
It's unnecessary. It's just unnecessary. If you treat the teachers of your nation this way, then how will you treat foreigners? How will you treat anyone else? How will you treat your neighbors? Probably poorly, right? And so it all starts at home first. And it's just sad to see that, you know, they're deciding to, I mean, and this is happening because clearly the government feels like they can bully the teachers and they enjoy, I guess, bullying them, which is sad. Like, how can you enjoy bullying a teacher? I don't understand that, but it looks like they enjoy it quite thoroughly. And it's a sad affair because it says that as long as these guys are running things, Guyana is going to have a rough future ahead of it because you guys can't even get respect for your teachers. Who else? No one else is going to get respect. If teachers can't be respected, no one can be respected in the country by the government is running it right now. They should really rethink their approach to this and consider their position in the world, in the region, and be smart about how they project who they are and their power. Because the way this looks, it looks like they're just bullying people for no reason because they like to be bullies, and it's not right.
It's just not right. You did ask a question as to, well, rhetorically, that look, if they're treating Guyanese like this, you can just imagine how they're treating foreigners. Let me tell you how they're treating foreigners. Let me tell you. It sounds. Let me tell you how they're treating foreigners. You go to the airport, foreigners get first preference in the line, immigration line. They walk through with security escorts straight to their vehicles, all manner of things. You go on the plane, the Guyanese now, all the first class are booked up. You gotta find $6,000 for first class. But the first class seats are all booked up, compliments of Exxon, compliments of this executive. But mind you, every time all these Exxon folks travel in first class, is the taxpayers, the ordinary people, including the teachers, got to pay for all of that. I just thought, let me just point it out to you, though. But here, what else happened? Here, what else happens, Mr. Anderson? I'll tell you. What else? The deal that foreigners get that Guyanese do not get at all. Guyanese, sir, are being treated worse than third-class citizens in their own country. Look at this here now, something that maybe you should probably, you never know, you're the director of Watchdog and all these things. You go after big politicians in the U.S. We'll come to that shortly with a breaking news story, something that you have done. So this says here, Jagdeo, your friend, Qatari hotel land belongs to state. 34 city grounds being developed. Now, outside of that, this hotel, Jagdeo and his friends, and I do know you know a lot about Jagdeo, but Jagdeo and his friends have said that this hotel, they will get 10 years, Tom, 10 years tax-free. They don't have to pay taxes for 10 years. The foreign company. No ordinary Guyanese would get 10 years tax-free. No ordinary Guyanese will get duty-free concessions and all these manner of things. How does that look in terms of my description of certain people are being treated now in reality?
So when I say what I was saying, I agree with you with what you're saying. Short term, you're correct, right? But long term, what always happens, what it looks like the trajectory that Guyana is taking is very similar to like Haiti. It looks like to me, all right, where it looks up front that, oh, the foreigners are treated well, the Haitians are treating poorly, the domestic people in Guyana are treated poorly, the foreigners are treated well. But what happens is in the long term, those foreigners, their businesses will end up getting confiscated. The hotel will end up getting run down. It won't be used properly. They'll end up losing out in the end because, like I say, you cannot build a country starting off by abusing your teachers, forcing them into the mud, and expecting that long term you're going to be able to sustain anything in your country for anyone, no matter how much money comes in from the outside. It's all going to go down a rat hole. And that's my point. Like, they need to start considering, look, they've got money coming in from Qatar. They have money coming in from the United States. They have money coming in from all over the place. It's coming, and it's going to continue to come. It's time to start thinking about how they take the power that they're getting from this money and how they're using the power in the way you do not use it. You do not use that power to abuse your teachers. It's ridiculous. Like that. It tells me that long term, these guys are going to be a disaster, not just for Guyana, but for the whole region. If they continue like this, the teachers should be taken care of. They need to reconsider. They need to take care of them. I really do believe that.
And I agree. We all agree with you. Any sensible person watching, except some of the trench croppers, wouldn't agree with that. They wouldn't agree with that. A few people, that's because they are not patriotic at all. They're just there for little sweetheart deals they can get because the regime, the PPP regime, is all about friends and family and favorites of them. That's all, and maybe some concubines of them, and so forth and so on. I noticed somebody Piri is calling for a revolution. Piri, if you want a revolution, maybe start a revolution and go out there. Let's see you in the street. Go and join Dennis Atwell and them. Let's see you go out there, behind a keyboard, man, and all about revolution. And you know, Piri Piri, you were always on the show. We love you when you come on the show. But the revolution, revolution, revolution. Go out there and join Dennis Atwell. Who is going to bell the cat? It's easier said than done, right? Let's move on now to, and I just thought I'd throw that at Piri Piri. Don't get upset, Piri Piri, and get vexed like some guy. He's quick to get vexed. Let's touch on this recent visit by U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas Greenfield to Guyana. I have observed a lot of U.S. officials are heading to Guyana. What's going through your mind on these visits, Tom?
Well, I dug into it today a little bit, spent a little time researching it, and I think the visits are a good sign. It looks like they are really keyed in and zoned in on what it is that the United States can do partnering with Guyana, regardless of who's running the government. And that's what I think people should really understand is our government, when we're dealing with Guyana, you know, it doesn't matter if it's the PPP or the PNC. It doesn't matter. We are going to adjust and work and partner with Guyana, however is running the government, right? That's just going to be what it is from our perspective. And so when you see these visits, you can see that they've been involved with visiting the opposition. And a lot of these people are very well read, and they understand the region. They understand the regional political players, who's playing dirty, stuff like that. They get it. And so that's this is a good sign that the group of people that are coming to Guyana from the United States, it shows that we're really trying to partner with Guyana right now. This is not something where we're trying to rip Guyana off or do something bad, because we can do that. You know, we're a big nation. We're an empire almost, and we have all types of little arms like octopus tentacles all over the world. And sometimes it's under our name, but it's bad sometimes. And I'm just telling you, with this looks really good, actually.
Again, you're right, whoever is in office, but why is it that sometimes we get the impression that these officials turn a blind eye to the suffering of Guyanese, human rights violations of Guyanese, all manner of violations by this corrupt PPP regime? Is that the case, Tom, that they turn a blind eye on these issues of human rights?
No, they don't. What's happening is they don't want to be viewed as favoring the PPP or the PNC or anyone politically. They want to be in a position where no matter who is running the government, they can partner with that group and accomplish the goals that our country and Guyana wants to accomplish, right? So that's why it looks like they're turning a blind eye. They're not. They're paying attention. And usually it's always the opposite. So if they're not saying something about it, they're probably behind the scenes trying to work to get it fixed and done the proper way. And so when things are bad, especially, and they're publicly bad, they're definitely not going to say much. They're going to be more likely working in the background. And like I say, this group that I see coming, they're that type of group of people. They're pretty quality people.
All right, as we move on, and hey, guys in the audience, be wary of distraction, please, about revolution and who planning and who. Please, this is not a platform for that planning of revolution. Y'all take that somewhere else, please, and with all due respect. Let's pay attention, because sometimes it's all talk about revolution. Back to our top don't like to be distracted, please, guys, because, you know, we are swift with sending you packing. But let us, the Deputy Secretary of State, he's back in Guyana again. He met with members of the opposition, the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, the leader of the Alliance for Change, Mr. Ramjatan, along with the U.S. ambassador and so forth. Again, talk to us about this picture and what you're seeing and what's going through your mind.
No, this is great. It's great that they're meeting with the opposition. And here's the thing, like I said, you're dealing with a gentleman here who he really understands the region. He understands the region. And I might be wrong, but it seems like he speaks a few languages in the region. He knows what's going on. And so he's someone that you definitely people in Guyana want to listen to, and definitely want to partner with, because he knows what's up, man. He's the real deal.
All right. Thank you, Tom Anderson, with us this evening. U.S. Deputy U.S. Secretary of State Nichols. Tom is saying he's a real deal, and he has the best interest of the U.S., of course, and we're hoping that he pays attention to human rights violations in Guyana. What's your assessment of the new U.S. ambassador to Guyana? She has been doing a lot of work, especially in the area of the reduction of immigration cases there that has been stalled up for almost 15 years. I give her kudos for that. But outside of that, how would you give her some ratings?
Oh man, I gotta say, man, they've been doing a great job. I mean, from my view here, they have been doing just, I think, the best job the embassy's ever done right now. And in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but for as long as I've paid attention to Guyana, this is the best crew, and they're doing the best work. And it's not even close, in my opinion.
And I know you have been paying careful attention to the embassy for quite some time now, years now. And it has been a while since you have made that positive remark, knowing some other incidents you have worked on or situations you've worked on. This is the first time in so many years I'm hearing that from you. So the ambassador hasn't gone out for interviews as yet. I'm not sure when she will do that, but if she does, hopefully we'll be more than happy to have her right here on 107.1 FM as well. Let's move on to some other issues, Tom. And just before we go to other issues, the Qatari hotel land deal. The land actually, Tom, the land belongs to the people of Georgetown. Here is a transport of that land to prove that it belongs to the people of Georgetown. Jack Dale decided that no, he's going to just take the land, give it to his friends. Take it, give it to his friends. You saw earlier this here, Jack Dale, Qatari hotel land belongs to the state. He is saying it belongs to the state. All those playgrounds and all manner of things, Jack Dale just doesn't care. He says it belongs to the state, but here is the evidence, Tom. Mm-hmm. What's happening? What's going through your mind there at Jack Dale?
Well, we here in the United States, I have to tell you, it's called eminent domain here, and it happens all the time. As a matter of fact, Dulles International Airport is sitting on top of what was formerly an all-black community that was built by one family, and they condemned that family. Their two-story house that the father of the family built with his own hands was condemned by the government, and they had the same day to get out of there. They gave them $8,000 for all their property and built the airport right there on top of that land. So we have that kind of stuff happening all of the time in the United States. And what you have to do and what you have to be on top of is, since this is going to happen, you make sure some people call it reparations, but the government has to step in and make sure that whatever lands were taken from the people of Guyana and given to be developed, that the government itself step into the void and make sure that everyone is properly compensated, seriously compensated. And they take these things very serious. If they take that approach, you guys will have a much better outcome with the development of your nation than some other countries have, I believe. And so learn a lesson from the United States. It works. We do it all the time, but the courts step in, and we do, for the most part, make sure that the owners get their just due, and we make sure that things go well. We try. It's not easy, but the better that can happen in Guyana, the better off you guys will be. And I think it can be done better for you guys, in my opinion, than it happens with us, in my opinion.
Many years ago, there are some stories about state taxes and federal taxes and the imposing of state taxes in New Jersey. All manner of things happened when there was a dispute between the federal government and state and so forth. The federal government cannot move into a state or in a city and take control of lands that belong to the city. Eminent domain has to do, and I'm sure you're well aware of this, Tom, private ownership, eminent domain, where the government steps in and takes away lands and properties that belong to the people, but the people, the owners, must be properly compensated. This is not the case. In this case,
Exactly.
land belongs to the city, the capital city of Guyana. And this is where it becomes questionable, and not that because it's owned by the city, it should be taken to court. This is the evidence. But at the Central Housing and Planning, or maybe at the Guyana Lands and Surveys, they're cooking the books. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's what they're doing. And so the corruption. Are you're a watchdog, a government watchdog in Washington D.C. Let's be honest, Tom. And we'll get to government watchdog and a big case you're working on right now. Do you smell any sort of corruption here, sir?
Well, that's the thing. I don't smell corruption per se on it with what I've seen, but I will say this. It's positioned for corruption to happen, right? Which anytime you have development, serious development in a nation that hasn't seen serious development, or in a region or in a city where there hasn't been a lot of serious development, anytime that happens, there is always a big, huge opportunity for corruption. Yes. Now, there is a flip side, though, and that's why I'm saying there's so many good opportunities for the people of Guyana here, because you guys can get it done the right way. Like, it's okay to give city lands to a private endeavor and give them a tax break. It's okay to do that. And the reason why it's okay to do it, if you do it the right way, is that the monies that that hotel will bring to the government, into the city, and all the other businesses it will attract will far outweigh whatever land it was that the city gave up, is the thinking. The problem is when you allow corruption to get in, then the development around that project never happens. And the project itself never really gets done properly. And it becomes something of a letdown, and can, over time, because of corruption, become a big boondoggle, which happens a lot in places where development's happening all of a sudden where it didn't happen before. So that's the key here. Is I'm not saying that I see it, but I know that the opportunity's there, and it's up to the people of Guyana to stay vigilant and stay on top of these things to make sure that that basically the trade-off works for the people of Guyana, especially the people in Georgetown. And here's the thing: the developers of the hotel, they want it to work too now. They do. But I can tell you, most people from the outside coming into a place like Guyana, what they're thinking is they have to do what the locals do. And if there's corruption there locally, then these guys from the outside are going to do the corrupt way. They have to do business. If that's the way to do it, that's what they will do. It's up to the people of Guyana to say, no, that's not what we want. And let me tell you, they don't want to have to do it if they don't have to. They don't want to do the corruption. These guys coming from the outside, they want to do it above board. Give them a chance to do it above board. Make sure their eyes on everything. And I think that helps everyone long term, and it actually brings wealth and prosperity to Guyana long term.
Let me tell you something, Tom. Agree. Nobody wants to be anti-foreign investors and so forth. Nobody's saying that they shouldn't have investors coming to Guyana and so forth. Fair enough. But if the foreign investors are getting sweetheart deals, and the ordinary Guyanese are getting crumbs, some of them are not even getting anything. And then you have some of these foreign companies, like those who built the Marriott Hotel, you would know, brought in all Chinese workers, all manner of things. And the Guyanese are getting the raw end of the stick. They're not getting anything, nothing at all.
You're right.
I think therein lies the problem.
Yes. I agree with you, and that's the deal.
They got Guyanese, Tom. 1 second. They got Guyanese who have been waiting for a piece of land almost 20 years now, a little piece of land. But yet you have these investors who are connected to the PPP regime. And how they do these things, Tom, is investors, or if you want to do business in Guyana tomorrow, you have a company, you're taking it to Guyana. The PPP, they're so corrupt that they're going to force you to have a local partner. And that local partner happens to be a PPP connected guy or gal. That is how the corruption happens. You are forced to give a certain percentage of your company to a local person who is connected to the PPP. There
See,
can
that's
never be success stories about that, Tom.
so
Never.
that's see, that's the issue for Guyana, right? Is where that system, it can work. It can ensure that local companies get business. But the problem is when you make it something like political capital, where you're handing it out to your cronies instead of allowing the real people who actually do the work on the ground to get the contracts, to get the connections, because they're the ones who know how to do the work. That's the real issue, and that's what Guyana and the people of Guyana have to focus in on, is making sure that what you just said does not happen. And I think it can be done, Mark. But I know I sound like I might be, maybe too optimistic, but I'm serious when I say it's very possible in Guyana. It just takes a little bit of good leadership.
It's very possible under a different regime, under caring government. You just mentioned earlier, look at how they're treating the teachers. They have no regards to the teachers, no respect for the teachers. They're treating the teachers worse than animals. Some of them got their little pups, their little dogs at home. They're treating their dogs better than how they're treating the teachers. And is there any hope for the ordinary man and woman? That when you look around and you have foreign investors, I'm never anti-foreign investors, and I don't blame those foreign investors for the sweetheart deals they're getting. If they find a corrupt government, they're going to move in. If they get sweetheart deals, they're not going to say, no, thank you. I don't want that. They're investors. That is what they do around the world. And so I blame the corrupt PPP regime for these things, for punishing their own citizens. That is what's happening.
That's how you have to see it that way, is that it's not the foreigners who are building a hotel that are the problem. They're the ones, they're bringing money, they're bringing infrastructure, they're trying to partner with the people of Guyana to raise the level of everything in Guyana. So the foreign partners coming in, that's great. The problem is getting the guys in the country to stop being so short-sighted and stop being so greedy. That has to stop, and the only way it can stop is the people of Guyana have to put their foot down and have to be serious about holding these guys to account on these things.
Well said. Brave people, brave politicians, brave MPs, not just snap a few selfies, clicks and put it on Facebook. No, brave MPs, that's what they need. Brave politicians. Aaliyah Waldron is saying here, the lands are meant, the same land, they are meant to use for recreational and educational purposes, for the people. And this is total disregard by Jack Deo. Total disregard. Jack Deo has always been, in terms of serious allegations of corruption upon corruption. The Sue allegation, allegation of bank accounts in China and maybe other places, all manner of things. And this here, Aliyah, you're correct. They're not concerned about children. They're not concerned about recreational facilities. They're not concerned about educational purposes for anything. Nothing whatsoever. Look at the broken promises they made that they are going to restore something they took away from the people, free tuition at the university level. This government is just run by a bunch of vagabonds, a bunch of crooks. That's who they are. Tom, let's move off to Trinidad and Tobago. We go all the way in Tobago. And here it is. The oil spill. The controversial oil spill. I see. Where are you? Oh, there you are. The controversial oil spill. And on top of that, according to information, they found cocaine worth $5 million on that oil vessel that was heading to Guyana. Let me hide my face while you talk about it.
Oh, man. Man, that's rough stuff, man. When I saw it, I couldn't believe it. And it reminded me of what I said to you when I came on your show the last time. And I said, Guyana has the opportunity to be a leader in the region, to be a good neighbor to your neighbors, right? And look what happens. Look what's done to your neighbors. And I hate to laugh, but it's like, this is the problem, okay? If the people who are in positions of power in Guyana, and I don't mean just the government, I mean in the private sector as well, in the media, everywhere else, if they don't wake up and realize that they have to start holding themselves to the highest of standards, they have to start holding the nation to the highest of standards. And the reason why they have to start doing it is because if they do not, there is so much money and activity coming in that this is going to be just the beginning of a lot of other types of oil spills and madness happening, because anything less than trying to be the best nation in that region is going to cause Guyana to have serious problems, which will cause the entire region problems. This will just be the beginning, in my opinion.
Corruption, corruption, corruption. Are you surprised, Tom, that the regime, the PPP regime in Guyana, they are tight-lipped on this issue, pretending as though they don't know who the vessel belongs to, and this consignment, this according to allegations, smuggled fuel from a country that is blacklisted by the U.S. That's Venezuela, smuggling fuel into Guyana, allegedly for a government agency that's called the Guyana Power and Light. Are you surprised that the regime in Guyana, that they are so tight-lipped on this?
Well, they probably still don't know to the depth of what's really going on here. And the reason why, and that's why I said they really have to raise their standards on what they're doing, because you have to have a system in place where you can track every vessel, you can track all the ownership, you can track everything. And that's something that the government of Guyana just hasn't taken seriously. They haven't taken their obligation to manage the waters around it that they have purview over. They haven't taken seriously any of this stuff, not to the point where it needs to be. And so that's why this is happening. And there's going to be more. And they're not saying much, because I'm telling you, I doubt they really know the true extent of what this story really is.
This is massive corruption. Millions upon millions of dollars of fuel being smuggled into Guyana, cocaine, all manner of things. It has to be that someone is connected to the PPP regime, the big boys and girls in the PPP regime. There is a connection, Tom. They must know what's going on. Why do you think they're so silent?
That's what I'm saying.
Tell me that a big vessel going in with all that oil into Guyana, and they just trying to figure out what's going on.
I'm serious. I don't think, Mark, I don't think they know. I don't think they have a grasp on what's happening in their own country. Like I say, they're too busy beating up on teachers and trying to force teachers to like give in on measly amounts. Like, it's ridiculous. They're putting their focus on that. That's what they're focused on. They're putting all this energy on crushing the teachers. And while they're doing that,
they're also milking people, kickbacks, money.
Yes, that's right. I'm saying that's right. They're putting all this energy into madness. They need to start putting their energy into making sure that they can actually track what's coming in and out of Guyana, and they can patrol the waters, and they know what's going on. I'm telling you, they've got no clue.
Once it's someone who is connected to them, they turn a blind eye. Whether it's murder, whether it's drug smuggling, whether it's gold smuggling, whatever. Once those bigwigs are connected to the PPP top guys, trust me, they turn a blind eye on everything.
Well, that's who the PPP has to listen to, are these guys. As I said, it's the leadership in the country, even the private sector, right? So what's happened is because the government really doesn't have a reliable system to know what's coming in and out of the country. Okay. Because of that, they have to depend upon individuals they're connected to in the private sector that know more than them. And if those are the guys responsible for this, they're going to tell these guys lies. They won't tell the truth. And how do you get to the truth? If you're a political leader, how do you do it? Because look, to get to this, you need to have professional investigators. And those people have to not only be professional investigators, but they have to be incorruptible themselves. And you have to have a system in place so those investigators can track down, so they can see what's going on. None of that's in place.
You know, so what's coming to mind?
There's no way for the elected officials in Guyana to really know what's happening. They just have to take the word from people.
You know what's coming to mind? Something what Sue said. Sue, who has made all the allegations against Jack Dale and said that everything that happens and the deals, they got to go to him and they got to pay him. That's according to Sue, mind you. He promised that he's going to sue Sue. He hasn't to this day. Sue said it to the reporters of Vice News. And let me say, corrupt leaders, corrupt so-called leaders, they have their hands on the pulse. They know every corrupt, almost, mind you, every corrupt transaction. And I'm willing to put my head right now on the block, Tom, that Jack Dale and Irfan, they know the story behind this oil smuggled to Guyana. They know the owner and they know what is going on. They know, Tom. That's just my opinion. You might be right, but I'm just saying they know.
Well, I think what I'm saying makes it worse. If I'm right, it makes it worse because not knowing is scary.
They know.
Think about that.
But they know. They know who smuggled guns into the country. Those big-time so-called businessmen who are connected, they turn a blind eye. They know who smuggled gold, Tom.
See, this is what I think, Mark.
Tom, you've done some work in Guyana for many years. They know, Tom.
No, here's what I'm saying. No, here's what I'm saying. I think it's to their benefit not to know. See, I think all they're doing is just trying to get their cut. They don't want to know details. They don't want to know how it actually happens.
Collect their cut, and that's it.
That's how they operate. From what my experience is looking at those guys, they like to get their little cut. They like to do their little thing, and they don't want to know the details. They don't want to know like really what's happening, and they don't want to know. They don't. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they really know, man. That's why I'm saying to you, here's the problem. Here's the problem that the people in power are not really in control of the country the way they should be in control. That's the problem.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I can agree with that. They're not in control. They're just looking little money, grab the little money, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But this research has led to Alpha Marine Solutions. And let me make this quite clear in the beginning. There's no allegations leveled against this company, but they seem to be the only they got a fleet of tugs, and they take care of tugs and barges and all these manner of things. Seem to be the only company that is capable of doing such a thing, receiving the tug from this particular vessel out in Trinidad and Tobago. What's going on, Tom? Again, this is not an allegation that this company is connected to anything at all, but they're just a company. They're big in Guyana.
Yeah, well, from what it looks like with the barge, it looks like whoever was towing the barge with a tugboat, it had to be a company that had a fleet of tugboats, right? And I don't know how many companies in Guyana have fleets of tugboats, but if this one, and whoever else has the tugboats, they would be the main ones that investigators would want to talk to in Guyana, right? Like immediately to find out, hey, is it possible that one of your employees used one of your tugboats in a way that shouldn't have been used, maybe? Or is the company covering it? Have they lost a tugboat? What's going on? Like the investigators should, since Guyana isn't that big, there are only so many tugboats around, man. And so the investigators should be talking to every company in Guyana who has tugboats. And you know what? In that community, it's probably a small one. If they weren't involved, they know whose tugboat it was. So that's where I bet that's where the investigators would have to start to figure out what's going on with this oil spill. Is at least these guys, if it wasn't their tugboat, they're going to know who it was. They will know. So they're probably the first guys the investigators want to talk to.
All right. Again, this company, as far as we're aware, it's not under any investigations. We are not pointing fingers at this company. We are not linking them to anything. We are just saying that they're a company that deals with tugs and barges and all these different things. That's all we're saying. That's all. Thank you. Tom, let's move on to a matter which is something that you have been doing for so many years. You're director of Watchdog in Washington, D.C. And look, it says last government watchdog. And this is Representative Elise Stefanik, ethics complaint. And who is she? She is a congresswoman linked to the Republican Party. She herself, not so long ago, called for complaints against the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, and so forth. But here it is, complaints against her. You, I believe, have something to do with all these different things. And this is the breaking news. Talk to us. What's going on with this ethics complaint against this congresswoman?
Yeah, so that's what if people want to know what I do when I'm not on your show, I am researching, I am investigating corruption in high places, especially in Washington, D.C. And so I was doing some work, and specifically with her because she's the member of Congress who initiated the congressional hearings that brought the presidents of Harvard University, University of Pennsylvania, MIT to testify before Congress about their campuses having anti-Israel protests, anti-Semitic protests. And so she, and that turned into an attack on DEI. And remember, her hearings made the president of Harvard have to resign. And she had only been a president there for 6 months, wasn't even given a real chance to do anything. And so this member of Congress went on the warpath, used the hearings as a tool to go after these universities, and got a couple of presidents fired because they believe that minorities should have rights, and they believe their campuses should be campuses that follow that belief. And they call it DEI, Stefanik does, and some of the Republicans. But I think what's happening is there's just a political attack on the right on anything that is benefits people of color, people of minority status for gender, women. And so since she was in the middle of that, I went and I do my job. And so I'm looking at what she's doing. And so I looked at her financial disclosures. And I saw that in 2016, when our country was heading into a big election and there was Russian interference and all kinds of stuff happening, she got proposed to by her husband, who was just her boyfriend at the time. They got engaged, and about a couple of weeks later after their engagement, she ended up having involvement with a bunch of different property transactions. And it looks like a bunch of money was made, and it's very hard to figure out where that money is coming from and how it was made. And her financial disclosures are missing a lot of information that they should have related to these transactions. And so I filed a complaint stating that, hey, Congress can fine her up to $50,000 for not disclosing mortgages, for example, that were attached to a property, a rental property she owns in Washington, D.C. And also the Department of Justice and Attorney General can go after her for civil offenses for having not disclosed key liabilities and key assets. So, yeah, it's important that when government officials are using their power to go after presidents of universities, for example, that they don't have issues with their financial disclosures where millions of dollars worth of properties are being pushed around all over the place at a very specific time. And by the way, her husband is the head of public affairs for the largest gun trade organization in the country. So she is enmeshed in the entire, every time we have some type of gun violence here in the United States, she's on the side that wants more guns. And so the question is, did her marriage to someone who's in this gun industry, is that what led to all this money coming through? And is this why there are things missing on her financial disclosure forms? So does she have a problem with the gun thing in our country is the question. And we will find out because I filed that complaint today.
It was filed today, the 28th of February. Tom, another big piece of work on your part. Congratulations on that. You have done many other filing in terms of complaints, ethic complaints about these politicians. One of them that's always sticking to my mind is our good friend, Meeks.
Yes.
What happened to that investigation many years ago?
Well, yeah, I mean, that turned into, that was a big deal, man. I mean, that turned into some real big news coverage. I mean, he had to, it was a big deal. And, you know, it ultimately led to this big casino deal that they were a part of falling through. And it also led to, I believe, ultimately, Governor Cuomo having to step down because he tried to create the Moreland Commission to put the fire out. See, the fire started in New York from the investigation I started with Gregory Meeks and with these other members in New York City. And that when that fire broke out, man, it got so bad that Cuomo initiated the Moreland Commission to try to like take control of it all. And it ended up ensnaring him too. So at the end of the day, a lot came from that. And I think what everyone should know is, you know, we as individuals, if you're taught properly, you have the right knowledge base, which I was blessed to just be given so much knowledge over the years. When I was young and a teenager, I never had a summer vacation. I never had a winter break. I never had a weekend off. I worked on the weekends. I worked on my breaks. Never had a time off. And where was I working at? I was working at a science museum where I had mentors that taught me things about computers that I use to this day. And I'm a master at it that no one, money can't buy it, right? And so I was also taught by a former prosecutor how to do these types of investigations. And I've worked with some great writers and some great journalists over the years, investigative editors, publications, and all these people have just mentored me and taught me. And so what's happened is I've realized that, and the reason why I come on, the reason why I try to help the people I can help is because my work can go to the highest bidder, and I can help the wealthy people of America and the elite corporations with their warfare to help them make billions of dollars. But I've decided, no, I want my skill set that I've been blessed to be taught to be given to the people, trying to do this in a way so that small campaigns can benefit, small media outlets like yourself can benefit, instead of the big boys, right? And coming through with some very good quality work. And so I expect this with this Stefanik complaint to go places, and it starts here. Your audience is the first one to hear about it. So we'll see how it goes.
Thank you so much, Tom. Something you've been at for many, many years. During the time we became good friends many, many years ago. Lots of people, lots of information, maybe lots of things that some things are better left unsaid. Your confession there moments ago reminds me of a mutual friend of ours who went off to make millions of dollars in a particular area. How is he doing anyways? That's another
right
story.
I know, right?
Yeah. So Tom, congratulations on this this investigation. Let's hope it gets somewhere. You have been at this for quite some time, and you're a good friend. You were even part of the investigation, the complaints that included Ed Ahmad, who his family are doing big in Guyana right now. Hospitals and all manner of things, Tom. All manner of things they're investing.
I'm not surprised, Mark. I mean, Guyana is what it is, but I hope if there's anything that people can get from the things I say is that it's not enough to try to get rid of the people creating the problems. Actually, what has to happen is the people of Guyana have to build in a proactive way a better future that's above these people who are down in the gutter. That's what has to happen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for always paying attention to Guyana. Thank you for looking into things in every area. Gary Greenidge is just adding a little humor here. You said you were all into the computer. He says, so Tom, your simple terms, you're a nerd. Thank you there, Gary Greenidge. I know there are scores of teachers who are watching this show right now. Just close off with the teachers and a message for them and Guyanese by extension.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just remember your blessings and just remember that what you guys are standing up for, you know what you're standing up for. You know what's right. You know what's right. And don't allow anyone to tell you otherwise. You guys know what you're fighting for. And stick to that. This government has to bend to you guys because without you, there isn't a government in Guyana. All right. And that's what everyone needs to realize is that without you guys, there isn't a Guyana. The people in charge right now, they can be replaced. They can be replaced. You can't replace all the teachers of a land. It ain't happening. So you guys are the most important. You guys are the key. You're teaching the future, and especially this. You know what you need, and you know what you want, and you guys are gathering together to fight for that. I admire it, and I wish you much luck, and my prayers are with you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom Anderson, a good friend of us here at 107.1 FM, and a very good friend of mine too over the years. Tom, early in the program, you did say that programs such as Straight Up on 107. Let me give credit also to some of the other programs. Dr. David Hines, they have done their bit in exposing Sadam Hussain. I know you've done some work looking and rushing and catching terrorists around the world, not excluding Guyana also. But guys like David Hines, and then we have the Village Voice News, and we have other Facebook shows as well. They all play their part as well. So I want to say kudos to all of them. I may not be able to mention all of their names, but hats off to them as well. And Tom, hats off to you on this latest. We all will be watching where it goes from here. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it.
Guys.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir. All right, Tom Anderson there for you guys. A guy, he talks, and then you got to read between the lines when he talks, and then he talks. That's Tom, my good friend. Hey, what else is happening? I know you guys have been talking about Sadam Hussain, and the disrespectful Sadam Hussain. Let's see what the judge is going to do tomorrow, guys. Let us see what the judge is going to do tomorrow. Sadam Hussain should be sitting in a hammock next to Bubba at either the Camp Street prison or the Luziknan prisons. Maybe one night, 2 nights, he probably, a lot of people don't have what it takes to go to prison. They kill themselves. I know a guy who was supposed to be a bad man. And I know some of them went right there in the strong cell, the solitary area there. They cry like babies. They cry like babies. And this guy, forget about Sadam Hussain for now. This guy, Mark Kazerki, when he heard that he had to go to Camp Street prison, he played sick, they rushed him to Georgetown Public Hospital. And that was under Leslie Ramsamy, when Leslie Ramsamy was the Minister of Health. And then all his partners that were all charged together for the same crime, Sam Hines and Ashton King and all these. It wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy road. Who said big men don't cry? Well, them boys cry like babies. They cried like babies. Yeah, Sean Hines cried, bawl. Ashton King cried, bawl. They all cried. But this guy didn't want to go. Mark Kazerki, who was a supervisor at the wine bar, Aubrey Wine Bar. He cried. He didn't want to go. He ended up at the Georgetown Public Hospital. And it is, according to information, they killed him. Whoever they are, I don't know, but they said they killed him at the Georgetown Public Hospital. So, I say all of this to say, not to say that these guys with big guns, when they go to prison, they cry. They cry like babies. Sean Hines cried. Ashton King cried. Well, me cry. Not me. But they cry. And so I say all of this to say that Sadam Hussain can't make it, man. He can't even make 1 hour in Brigham Police Station, lockup. Not even 1 hour. Why is he doing these sort of things? Why is he defying the court's decision? Why is he being disrespectful of the judge? Why is he doing it? We know that they're vindictive, they're cruel towards the teachers, but the court now, let's see what the court is going to do with him tomorrow. Let us see. I'm glad that the judge summoned him today. He walked in like a big boy. Oh, you take my picture? I'm looking good now. You take my picture? Without a long beard and mustache, I'm sure he's probably capable of just whatever it is he's capable of with his mustache, and his beard. Anyways, guys, you guys also, Annette Cummings, that's right. Freddie Kissoon cried like a little, at the Brigham lockups. He cried, he cried, he cried. He said he done with his struggle. He couldn't eat. He said he's going on he's fasting. And then after he said he's fasting, but we did say we were fasting. And then Polari and cheese roll and thing came. And I said, man, look, to hell with this. I grabbed me cheese roll. I started eating the cheese roll. And he said, hey, I want food too. Hey. And then they moved us into different cells, and he started to bawl at the end of the night. I don't know why he was bawling. Don't ask me. I was in a different cell. But he was bawling. He was crying out for the officers. I'll talk more about that some other time. Seriously. I'm not kidding you. Those things happen for real. He bawl, he beg. He said he was in a cell with 3 or 2 other guys. He bawl, he beg. If this guy goes to lockup, he will do the same thing. He will bawl and beg, then a bawl and beg. But Patrick Yard, where is Patrick Yard? Where is Patrick Yard? I don't know if he's going to appear on David Hines' show tomorrow. Where is Patrick Yard? Where? Oh, that's the question Wayne Caesar is asking too. Wayne, good night to you. Where is Patrick Yard? Patrick Yard, we want to hear from you. Can we hear from you tomorrow? Can we hear from you tomorrow? Brenda Braithwaite is saying, Mark, you're tough. Y'all know that size fool, y'all know. Tough? Man, them guys cry like babies, man. Babies, big. They feel them as big gunmen on the street and this. But the sweetest cry was Freddie, though. I'm done with this protest. I'm done with the struggle. And every time we would finish a protest or whatever, when it gets dark, who's going to follow me home? He wants people to drive him all the way home, make sure he goes into his house, and then, poor me now, like Stubbly Bill, I got to drive back home all by myself with special branch police traveling behind me and in front of man, those were the days, right? I've got to, I'm serious. Maybe one day when I finally get time and I get my book out, you guys will see there are lots and lots of other stories I want to talk about. Shh. Hey, to all our teachers, hats off to you. To our guest this evening, Tom Anderson, thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate, always do. And to all of you, whether you're in Guyana, wherever you are listening to us, thank you so much. The folks at Border Market who listen to us every night on a big screen TV, good night to you guys. The folks at Stabrook Market as well, all across Guyana, good night to all of you. And to you, beautiful people, if you're celebrating your birthday, any one of you, happy birthday to you. If you are a little under the weather, we wish you a speedy recovery. God bless you all. And we got to look out for Patrick. Patrick, come out of your yard. Come out of your yard, Patrick. We need to see and hear from you. And to all of you, let me go back right in a little basement here and sleep until tomorrow. God bless you. See you all.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop.
Yeah, my name is Jasnity Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by 1 vote, they're losing it by data.
So this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, The phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union will be hosting a special The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union will be hosting a special general meeting and elections on Saturday, March 2, 2024. The meeting and elections will be held both virtually and in person in the various regions. Members in Region 4 will be allowed to vote at the Critchlow Labor College, Wilford Avenue. The meeting will be held from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Members are asked to be on the lookout for information regarding online voting and regional polling places. Full participation of members is encouraged. Let us move your credit union forward.
Are we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Boxer, let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body, listen. Body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Body jump, body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Hear me sing, so big body can't wear it tight pants, big body jump. Are we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Boxer, let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body, listen. Body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Body jump, body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Hear me sing, so big body can't wear it tight pants, big body jump.